Africa is changing, and the world is watching. Across the continent, a new spirit of independence is rising, one built on confidence, vision, and the determination to shape a future free from external control. For decades, Africa's relationships with Western powers were defined by aid, dependency, and political pressure. But in 2025, a dramatic shift is underway. A new generation of African leaders and citizens is challenging the old order, asking hard questions and demanding fairness on the global stage. The movement is not sudden. It has grown over years of frustration, broken promises, and unfulfilled partnerships. Many African nations feel that the traditional approach from the West has not delivered equality or respect. From trade agreements that favored outside corporations to policies that limited local industries, the message has become clear. Africa wants partnerships, not patronage. This transformation is driven by a mix of politics, economics, and pride. Countries such as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have become symbols of this awakening. Their calls for sovereignty echo across the continent, resonating deeply with younger generations who have access to more information than ever before. Social media, independent journalism, and digital networks have empowered Africans to see global dynamics with new eyes. They are questioning the motives behind foreign interventions and demanding transparency from both local and international powers. The United States and European nations are closely observing this shift. While Washington and Brussels seek to maintain cooperation, they also face growing competition from new players, China, Russia, Turkey, and Gulf nations. They're offering Africa choices beyond the traditional Western sphere. These emerging partnerships come with fewer conditions and a stronger emphasis on infrastructure, trade, and investment. For many African governments, that looks like a better deal. However, this realignment isn't simply about rejecting the West. It's about balance and equality. African policymakers are increasingly advocating for a multipolar world, one where Africa is not a junior partner, but an equal participant in global decision-making. The African Union, regional blocs like ECOWAS and SADC, and new coalitions across the Sahel are pushing this agenda forward. They are asserting that Africa's future must be designed by Africans themselves. At the heart of this story is leadership. Figures such as Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso have become symbolic of a wider continental sentiment, a belief that Africa must protect its resources, defend its sovereignty, and demand fair terms of engagement. His bold stance has inspired many across the region, sparking both admiration and controversy. To some, he represents a return of dignity. To others, a challenge to the old world order. Meanwhile, the United States is re-evaluating its strategy on the continent. Programs focused on security and counterterrorism are being reassessed, and Washington is exploring new avenues for trade and economic collaboration. American diplomats have acknowledged that Africa is not just a region in need of assistance, but a continent of partners and opportunities. Yet, winning back trust will take time. For many Africans, the idea of partnership must mean something real: shared investment, respect for sovereignty, and the freedom to choose alliances that serve local interests. The success of Africa's new direction depends on how well its leaders can manage these evolving relationships, balancing external partnerships without repeating the mistakes of dependency. Beyond politics, ordinary Africans are driving change too. Entrepreneurs are building local industries. Youth movements are promoting innovation and education, and artists, writers, and influencers are using their platforms to redefine how the world sees Africa. The message is consistent. Africa is not waiting to be developed. It is developing itself. This transformation has global implications. As Africa gains more economic weight, its influence in global institutions will grow. Its resources, both human and natural, are critical to the world's future, from energy transition to technology manufacturing. That's why the continent's demand for fair treatment and genuine partnership matters more than ever before. Critics may frame this shift as anti-Western, but it's more accurate to call it pro-African. It's about empowerment, equality, and self-determination. It's a call for a balanced world where nations are valued not by their size or history, but by their potential and contribution. The coming years will reveal how the West responds. Will it adapt and treat Africa as an equal partner, or risk losing influence to nations that already see Africa's rise as an opportunity for mutual growth? One thing is certain: Africa's voice is louder than ever, and the world cannot ignore it. As a new decade unfolds, Africa's message is clear. This is no longer the era of silence or submission. It's the era of vision, courage, and unity. The continent is writing its own story, and the rest of the world is turning the page to see what comes next.